In today's video we'll be traveling on board of a Dutch domestic intercity train from Eindhoven in the Netherlands to The Hague in the Netherlands. Between Breda and Rotterdam, this train will also join the high-speed line. This cuts down the travel time pretty much for a big part of the route. So join me as we travel on board one of the newest domestic intercity trains you can find in the Netherlands, from Eindhoven in the south to The Hague in the middle at the coast. So join me as we travel from Eindhoven in the Netherlands to The Hague in the Netherlands. This train will also join the high-speed line. Anyway, this here is a map of the journey that we'll be taking today. The train starts in Eindhoven. From there on we'll go to Tilburg, Breda, Rotterdam Central Station, The Hague HS, and the terminal station is The Hague Central railway station. I have two special announcements to make during this video as well, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. And like for pretty much all my trip reports, I'll start off by showing you the railway station where we'll be departing from today. What is in this situation Eindhoven Centraal railway station. In most situations it makes sense to start the trip report at the front of the railway station. However, for Eindhoven this is a little bit different, so let's move on to the back of the railway station. Because at the back you find probably most facilities for if you arrive here, and especially if you are not from here. Apart from a taxi stand, what you also find at the front by the way, and a pick-up and drop-off zone for railway passengers by car, what you will also find at the front, so in that sense nothing special. Over here you find a big bus station. Eindhoven is a kind of the tech hub for the Netherlands, and apart from that, also the second busiest airport of the Netherlands is located over here, and these buses from and to the airport do depart from here. But honestly, these are mainly flights that can be done by trains as well, because intercontinental flights will not depart from Eindhoven. So I hope if you consider traveling, then the train might be a better alternative to you. You find many trip reports that can inspire you on this channel. Anyway, at the bus station, departure screens for buses are marked crystal clear. You basically can't miss that. In terms of waiting facility for passengers by bus, there are some benches, but to be honest, compared to the amount of passengers that will be using this bus station, it's not that much. Throughout the bus station there are several screens that will host digital departure information about departing buses from here. Of course, we are in the Netherlands, so this means you also find a lot of spots to park your bike. I found most parking spots for bikes that are not guarded by the way, at the back of the railway station. But as you can see, it's rather busy here. However, you do find more spots to park your bike. Both at the front and at the back there is a guarded parking grass as well for bikes. Even though the guarded parking grass for bikes at the back of the railway station is closed in the weekend. A water tap to refill your bottle with water is also located at the back. Time to head into the railway station building. From the bus stop area you do find two entrances. One is located a little bit more at the side and one is closer to the access gates that will lead to the platforms. The entrance at the side will gain access to some shops first. Basic stuff you can find at railway stations, like for example a small supermarket / convenience store. But also, these onigiri vending machines. I think this is pretty cool actually. These kind of vending machines are in the Netherlands more known for snacks like fried food. But seeing this for onigiri is pretty cool, but I wasn't hungry at the moment I recorded this part of the video. Then you also find an American fast food chain that I'm really not a big fan of. A dinner company, another fast food chain that is just after the exit gates. And toilets can be found over here as well. If you use the toilets, they do pay quite a high amount I have to say. However, you do get a kind of voucher as well you can use for some discount within the railway station if you buy things at certain shops. In terms of railway related services, most services can be found at the front of the railway station at the concourse. However, here at the back you do find some vending machines for tickets as well, and there is an information point. I will get back to tickets a little bit later on in this video. A Starbucks is located over here as well, but personally I'm not a big fan of Starbucks coffee. And there are actually two pretty good spots where you can buy coffee as well. If you move out of the railway station, here on the left at the right side of the bus station, you do find a coffee roaster company as well. That's pretty good. And if you go through the access gates a little bit more to the front of the railway station, you do find another shop where you can buy coffee as well. Speaking of which, it's time to go through the access gates. You can go through if you have a OV chip card. They will change the name to OV Pay in the not too far away future. E-tickets that has a QR code to open the gates, or you can also travel with the use of a bank card, but in that situation you always pay the full fare and you will travel in second class. Once again, I will tell you a little bit more about tickets later on in this video. This here is the underground tunnel that is linking the railway station with all the platforms, and over here you find plenty of shops as well. Places to grab some food, something to read, and even some fashion related shops. This tunnel is basically linking the front with the back of the railway station and the other way around. However, parallel to the tunnel that is linking the platforms with the front and the back of the railway station, that's pretty often the busiest tunnel and where you find most shops, you do find this tunnel over here. In terms of facilities, there's not that much, but there are more places to wait, at least at the beginning and at the end of the tunnel. From here on you also have direct access to the platforms, and this tunnel is linked directly with the other tunnel where most people go to. What makes a lot of sense because this is closer to the trains in general. Now let's head to the front of the railway station. And there are a lot of construction works going on over here. So yeah, this will probably be different at the moment you will be going to Eindhoven. But I think the main picture stays the same for at least the part at the front of the railway station. This is pretty close to the city center of Eindhoven, what is, well, basically less than 100 meters away from here, where you find lots of shops. Over here, there are some more spots where you can park your bike, but it's not that many as compared to the front. However, what you will also find over here is an underground parking garage for bikes that I think is bigger than the one at the back. But over here you also find the OV-fiets, what is basically the public transport bike, and this is the bike sharing program of the Dutch state-owned railway company NS. Apart from that, within the bike storage area there's also a bike repair shop. Ideal if you want to fix your bike and pick it up after you come back from your commute, for example. Access to the underground parking area for bikes is via this here at the side, what is basically the main entrance, but also via the main concourse you do find a small entrance to here, but obviously cannot go in via the main concourse by bike. This here is the main concourse at the front of the railway station. There is a tickets and service point, there are some more vending machines where you can buy tickets, an exchange office, and apart from that you do find another convenience store over here. Well, I think you get it. Let's go through the access gates. And before we go to our train, let me show you where you find the lockers in this railway station. Actually, they are a little bit hidden, but they are located right here at the front of the station. Screens at the side that are close to the access to the platforms, so at the point where you do find the escalators and the stairs, do indicate what train will be next from what specific platform. Elevators can be found here on the right, and the elevators are linked to both halls of the station. So the one without the shops and the one over here with all the shops. And apart from that, you do find stairs to both halls as well. At the moment I was here, Eindhoven did not have international trains yet. However, in the not too far away future there will be international trains from here to Düsseldorf. Basically, the regional train between Venlo and Düsseldorf will be extended in the Netherlands to Eindhoven. Even at the beginning there were plans to do this to The Hague. I think it's also good to do this to Eindhoven, even though I'd love to see that train going to The Hague. Therefore, there was still some construction works going on at the railway station. Before I continue and show you the train... Okay, just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'll get back to you about something later on in this video. First of all, I've hit the 20,000 subscribers milestone on YouTube, and thank you all so much for that. For that reason I will do a kind of special Q&A video a little bit later this year. If you have some questions for me about that, let me know in the comment section. And something else, and this is actually why I'm doing this specific video right now. I've bought some new gear. Recently I became a father. So doing weekly videos, that's not possible anymore. Therefore I upload every 2 weeks at this moment. That's realistic to me as well. But I want to focus more on quality instead of quantity. Therefore I invested in some more new gear for my YouTube channel. It's not profitable, maybe break even my YouTube, but that's it. I think just not break even. Anyway, I invested in some new gears as well, and this is basically why I'm making this trip right now, to just test the gear, to see if everything is working, the sound, the images, the gimbal, etc. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And of course, at last, like I say in all my videos, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have questions, feedback, comments, let me know in the comment section. And if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling. Well, this is not really a long distance, but international, but for the Netherlands it's long distance. It's the great scheme of things, maybe medium distance. But if you'd like to see more, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, I'll talk way too much. Let's continue with this video. Well, I will still be talking, but with the use of a voiceover. Some people think I talk way too much in videos in general, but I have to say there are many other YouTube channels as well, and other people love my style. I think doing the right thing is impossible. Anyway, at all platforms you do find a small indoor waiting area, and right next to that there's a kiosk, a super small convenience shop. At the platform you will find these screens with information about departing trains and also a small train composition display. Well, the train that we'll be taking today, these train sets do consist of 5 or 8 carriages. And if they only consist of 5 carriages and there's one train set only, so they don't run combined, things can get busy. And this was also happening during my trip. Even though I was traveling in first class, and in first class there were still seats available, thank goodness. However, before we take a close look at the interior of the train, let's check out the exterior. The numbers 1 and 2 at the side of the train do indicate where you'll find the first and the second class, and the extra stripe above the windows does exactly indicate where you will find the first class. Icons, like for example a bike icon, do indicate where you find the bike area on board of these trains, and digital displays will indicate the final destination for these trains. In some situations you also might find trains that do have a different color scheme at the outside. And these are the trains that are actually meant for the routes between the Netherlands and Belgium for the Eurocity direct services. I honestly don't know why these trains do operate on the route Eindhoven-The Hague every now and then. If you know this, please let me know in the comments, because I'm pretty curious about this. And also something I really have to mention, in general these trains are fine and they do have a high capacity. However, if there's only one train set running, or 5 cars only, things can just get too busy. So yeah, please NS, make these trains a little bit longer if it's needed. Maybe one train set of 8 carriages will be already enough, or just combine these train sets. I know you need extra staff for that. Anyway, the second class, over here you find the blue seats. There's a combination of airline style seats and seats facing each other. They're about equal in terms of numbers. For the airline style seats that I like most, you find a sturdy table in the seat in front of you you can fold out. And these are modern trains, there's definitely not a shortage of power sockets. You'll find them all over the train in both first and second class, even though in first class you do find slightly more. About the seats facing each other, you do find it with a smaller table at the side, but also with a bigger table in between the seats. And I think this also fits different kind of passengers on board of these trains. I really like that. For luggage, you obviously find dedicated luggage racks. I mean, these are intercity trains, but like every train, you also find the overhead luggage racks. But don't miss out on the backends between the seats as well, where you can store luggage. Priority seats have been mentioned as well, not only with some stickers at the side, but also at the headrests. They are slightly different compared to the regular headrests. Even though it's been assigned pretty okay, I think the priority seats can be assigned a little bit better, and that doesn't only count for this train, but for European trains in general. Something that's not very obvious, but these trains do come in different zones. Therefore, you do find different mood lights as well. These are basically the different colors. But honestly, it's pretty hard to tell what color is what zone. This here is, for example, the quiet zone, but yeah, that's not very obvious to me. The train that I'll be reviewing in this video will be a 5 5-car train sets or a 5-car electrical multiple unit. You find them of 8 cars as well. Basically, they are a little bit longer and have, well, 2 times the first class and more of the same. This here is the accessible area for if you're traveling in a wheelchair. There is some more space, there are dedicated luggage racks as well, and let it be no surprise that right next to this area you will also find the bigger accessible toilet. And since no train tour is complete without showing you the toilets, this is the bigger accessible toilet on board of these trains. What I like are the pictures at the wall, but this is not something unique. But as a father of a baby, I really like the diaper change facility, and this is actually the only Dutch intercity train that has this. As a matter of fact, for that same reason, also combined with barrier-free access, this is definitely my favorite Dutch intercity train, and especially if I'm traveling with my baby that is less than 1 year old. Honestly, I think there should be more trains that do have diaper change facilities within the Netherlands. Anyway, let's move on to the rest of the second class. Apart from the seats facing into the driving direction or backwards, you also find some couches. These are mentioned as lounge areas. You find this both in first and second class. Speaking of first class, the seats in first class do have a different color. These seats are red, and the first class comes in a 2x1 layout. Well, in general, for many Dutch trains, I honestly feel like first class isn't that much better compared to second class, but on these specific trains, I really do prefer first class compared to second class, because it's just a big difference. Obviously, you do find the dedicated luggage racks as well. You can use the backends between the seats, and the overhead luggage racks can be found all over the train. Screens that will host route information can be found all over the train as well, in both first and second class, but also at the vestibules. This is pretty detailed, but sometimes these screens are not working, and then also the mood lights are not working, then everything is orange, but that doesn't happen that often. In first class, there are way more power sockets compared to second class, where you will find already more power sockets than in first class in some older Dutch intercity trains. Let's do a seat review of the airline style seats in first class. The amount of legroom is very reasonable. I have to add up to this, I'm a rather tall guy. There is a footrest that I won't be using for the same reason. You find a sturdy tray table in the front of you, a coat hanger, and the armrests are 1 per seat for most seats in first class. Apart from that, you do find a reading light as well within first class. The seats are a little bit softer as well, and these seats can be reclined, even though it's not that much. Now let's move on to the regular toilets. On the 5-car trains, you do find 1 of them, but if these trains do consist of 8 carriages, you will find 2 of them. And of course, these train sets can be combined, what is also happening pretty often. As far as I noticed, there are only 2 train sets can be combined, and in that situation, these trains do consist of 10, 13 or 16 carriages. 16 is rather exceptional, I have to say. At the vestibules, where you find the bike spots, there are some folding seats as well, and if it's really busy, you can stand there as well and lean on these seats. In that sense, they really designed this very well. In terms of litter bins, you will not find them near the seats, however you will find them at the vestibules, and you can separate your waste here to recycle. Honestly, I don't know if this is a good design or not, because I notice pretty often that people just leave their waste in the train. Even for the folding seats, you will not find true power plugs, but you do find USB sockets, what is pretty cool actually. I mean, they really thought about that in this sense, and I think on this sense, these are really the best long distance trains you can find within the Netherlands, even though they do not even travel on the longest distances. However, no litter bins in the open compartments, and quite some places where people can just put things a little bit hidden away. I don't think this is a good design, and they have thought about this very well. Even though probably they did, but well, not in my opinion at least. While we will be departing from Eindhoven, and the route will be displayed on the maps in the train as well, let me tell you something about ticket fare. Basically, if you buy individual train tickets within the Netherlands, it's not cheap, to be honest. And this is where most people stop and draw their conclusion. While trains in the Netherlands are not expensive, it's just how you book your tickets. And yes, if you pay the full fare tickets, you pay quite a lot. So let me break it down really quick. First of all, for this specific journey, I was traveling with a weekend unlimited subscription. In Dutch it's called weekendvrij. It's an NS Flex subscription. I pay €39.50 per month for this and an additional €10 or so to travel in first class in the weekends. I do pay another additional €4 to be able to have the discount in the off-peak hours during the week. Apart from this journey, I made some more journeys with this weekend unlimited subscription, so I easily earned it back. I also went to Groningen with this subscription and had some other smaller journeys in the same month. Apart from the weekend subscription, because you might travel during the week as well, an off-peak unlimited travel subscription within the Netherlands, for trains at least, will cost you €127.95 at this very moment, and for an additional €42 you can travel in first class. And of course, if you're traveling within the peak hours, there are some subscriptions as well, and in general ticket prices are just higher. However, for within peak hours you do have subscriptions for specific routes, but also for the entire country. And that's obviously the most pricey ticket you can get. In terms of individual tickets, you do have discount subscriptions as well. In that case you get 40% discount in the off-peak hours. But if you don't want to have any subscriptions or you're not from the Netherlands, you do have so-called price time deals as well. In that situation, tickets can go as low as 65% cheaper compared to the regular price, but these tickets are based on demand and on the route. In general, if you book these tickets a little bit earlier, you pay less as well. You cannot buy these price time deals at the day of departure, you need to book at least 1 day ahead of schedule. However, these price time deal tickets will only be sold about 1 month prior departure. So if you don't see them yet at the moment you try to book your train ticket, just try a little bit later on. And they are not available within the peak hours. These price time deals can be a really good deal, and especially first class is not that much pricier compared to second class, what I noticed at least. And if you travel more often by train in the Netherlands, the 40% discount in the off-peak hours can be very interesting. In the Netherlands we are working with a kind of fare zones, and you never pay more than 200 fare zones for a train journey. Meaning that, for example, if you're traveling from Groningen in the northeast of the Netherlands to Utrecht, you pay the same amount that if you're traveling from Groningen to Vlissing, what is about another 150 kilometers more. And especially for long distances within the Netherlands, the trains are really not that expensive as people would like to mention sometimes. However, shorter distances, especially if you pay the full fare, yeah, I have to admit, trains in the Netherlands can be relatively pricey. Children up to and including the age of 3 in the Netherlands do not need a train ticket. If you're between 3 and 11 years old, you do have these so-called rail runner tickets. These are €2.50 and you can travel unlimited within the Netherlands by train with guidance of a parent, of course. Also, you have so-called kids-free subscriptions, so basically kids between 3 and 11 years old. They can travel for free within the Netherlands, but you need a personalized public transport smart card for this. And there are many great other deals as well. I'm not digging in that too much for now. Basically, even if you pay the full fare for train tickets, the price per kilometer can get as low as around 8 cents per kilometer. And yes, I know this is a very exceptional example, but saying that trains in the Netherlands are expensive, honestly I don't think that's true. It's just how you look at it and how you book your train tickets and the distance you travel. And yes, I fully admit, short journeys in the peak hours in the Netherlands by train are relatively pricey. And probably if you arrive here as a tourist, you might pay these tickets as well, because you probably have no idea about all these discount cards, etc. However, for tourists who really want to go wild on public transportation within the Netherlands, you do have the so-called Holland travel ticket. Well, I'm not digging in that for now. Anyway, for now, I already showed you some views between Eindhoven and Tilburg, and also a little bit beyond Tilburg. From here on, our train continues to Breda, from where on you do find connection on the Eurocity trains to Belgium as well. After that, we join the high-speed line towards Rotterdam. After Rotterdam, we will go back along the conventional railway lines and make another call at the railway station for Delft, the Hague HS and the Hague Central railway station. This train does not call at Schiedam Centrum, and this is basically the only train that doesn't call there. All other intercity trains that do pass by do make a stop over there as well. Anyway, for now just sit back, relax and enjoy the views from the train, and I'll be back with you at the very end of this video. So right now I'm at the Hague HS railway station. The Hague, even as one of the bigger cities in the Netherlands, is not the biggest cities. It's not the biggest city. Rotterdam and Amsterdam are bigger, but it has two main railway stations. And that's the only big city in the Netherlands that has this. As far as I know, the only town in the Netherlands that has this. And a funny fact about this specific station, there is a royal waiting room right over there. It's not being used that often anymore nowadays. Anyway, this is also my home station where all my railway adventures do start to all over the world. Even though our train continued a little bit further down the road to the Hague Central railway station, I got back and from here on I will cycle homebound. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it and that this has been a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I really appreciate that. If you have some questions, feedback, comments, also for the 20,000 subscribers video, the special Q&A video, if you have some questions for that, let me know in the comment section. And at last, if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling about, well, traveling on a more sustainable way of transportation, mainly by train, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. Before we really end up this video, one very last thing. In the description of this video you find links to related videos and also a link to a map where you find all trip reports as well, but then on a map. Also related links can be found in the description of this video. Once again, thank you for watching and see you on the next video.